This is it, guys, the finale of my F2 2019 career mode as Mahaveer Raghunathan. Everything seems to be set to take the championship as the Indian, and we'll see what we can do. It's time for the last round at Abu Dhabi. Welcome to another video, guys. If you haven't dropped a like, make sure to do that, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe to the channel because a lot of F1 2020 is coming to the channel, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I'm going to make a video talking about my plans for this game, but here we are on practice. What we need to do is basically the title is going to be decided on qualifying, and what Sergio Camera needs to do to keep the championship fight alive is to take pole position. So like I said, everything seems to be set to take the championship as the GOAT. We've been very consistent over the course of this season and taking advantage of the inconsistency of our rivals and some DNFs. And yeah, the reward is going to be the title. But here we are on practice. We've been fastest, but the pace hasn't been that good. At least I didn't feel, because I hate this track. I already hate it in F1 cars. Now heading to F2 cars where you don't have much downforce, but yeah, it's a track. It's an awful track to drive a racing car, in my opinion. But here we are in qualifying. Just wait till the second half of the session to set the time, because we just have one set of super soft tires, and I always like to go to the end when the track has a bit of more rubber. So we'll see what we can do. At the moment we are champions of the world, because Sergio Camera is not on pole position. It is Nick de Vries. I think Sergio Camera is in the top 5. I forgot to where he was in the timesheets when we were in the garage. But here we are on our lap 1, getting a bit shaky in the last sector, which is I think the weakest point on the track for us. It's very tricky when it comes to braking zones. I always felt very uncomfortable with the brakes during this weekend. But here we go through the final corner, take the widest line as possible. We missed the apex, so it's not the best lap, it's just the first one. There's a lot of time left on the table. And Sergio Camera, yes, it is in P5, we are ahead of him, but as things stand, he's not going to take the championship. And at the moment we are world champions, as we're doing our second lap, 2/10 up, as Nicholas Diffie gets in the way, and is going to ruin our lap, because we have to go around the outside, and we lost all the time that we gained over the course of the 1 second. So I decided to slow down a bit and go to another one with just 45 seconds to go. We are low on fuel, but we're going just manage to get the time in. So you can't you know, add fuel or remove fuel in these F2 cars. So it's perfect placed for 3 laps, the fuel, I believe. But here we go for the last corner, and we missed the apex in the first one, so that is going to definitely help us to gain some more time. This time we hit the apex beautifully, and we're going to gain 1/10 of a second, and we're going to cross the line, and we're going to be still in P6, but it's going to be the F2 World Championship as Mahaveer Raghunathan, because Sergio Camera couldn't take pole position, and here we are doing some donuts, celebrating the championship as Mahaveer. Oh man, only F1 games, right? I'm really happy. I think we've done a pretty decent job. I think I would like to, you know, get the fight on the sprint race at the very last race. But yeah, there he is, the championship, doing some donuts. And this is a very weird way to win the championship, to be honest, because, you know, we won in the qualifying. Generally, things are won in the race, but considering the rules of Formula 2, the pole sitter gets, you know, the points. And there is confirmation, 45 points ahead of Sergio Camera. He's 1 point ahead of Nick de Vries. So there are some things that need to be tweaked in the drivers, in the constructor championship as well, because MP Motorsport at the moment is in first place, but Tammy is starting getting closer and closer, because at the moment it's me basically carrying the flag, because Jordan is not performing that well. So maybe this weekend is going to be all down to us. So without further ado, we are world champions, but we have some work to do in the race. So let's go to the grid, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the feature race.
It's race day for our young drivers here in the United Arab Emirates, where the Yas Island circuit is about to play host to the Abu Dhabi Formula 2 race. Let's get started. So the Yas Island circuit offers 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of excitement for the fans, no doubt. Joining me for the race today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, it's great to have you with us for today's race. Any tips for our drivers out on the track today?
It's a real pleasure to be here, Alex. We are in for a spectacular day in Formula 2. My advice is to stay calm, look after the car, look after the tires, but don't be afraid to push when you see an opportunity. Using the DRS for some of those long straights will be crucial for the driver looking to make a challenge.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results. The look at the starting grid. Nick de Vries starts from pole position today, edging out Nicholas Latifi, who will start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Delatrat, Giotto, Antoine Hubert, and Raghunathan, Galeo, Tete Camara, Joe, Jordan King, Aitken, Schumacher, Ralph Boschel, and Boccolacci, Ilott, Mazepin, Alesi, and Nobuharu, Matsushita, Calderon, and Juan Manuel Correa completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
Are you kidding me? Oh yes, Devon. Two things, Jeff. We are already world champions, and Devon is not here. But yeah, I think that's a glitch. But there he is. Going to start on the supers, on the softs, and then switch to the supers, and that is going to be our race. Oh, I can't believe that he said that. Oh man. Okay, sorry. That was funny. I thought funny, but we have a job to do. We have a Constructors' Championship to win, a Team's Championship I should say. 16 laps ahead of us for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. No replays cameras because unfortunately I forgot to record, but here we go. And it was a good start against Antoine Hubert. And let's see if we can dive down inside into the first corner. This is just a camera that shoots on the inside like if the championship was still, you know, available. It's not available, let me say, but he shot on the inside like he was still fighting for the championship, if the championship was still possible for the Brazilian. But that was a nice move, and we are still in P6, and Hubert is behind us now because we overtook him. But what a start from Sede Cameron. We'll try to you know, to follow him, but it's going to be really hard as his brake checkers, as we are all bunched up. And I misjudged a little bit corner speed, as we have a ton of, a bit of a tank slapper out of the happen. Yeah, I always get a pretty awesome exit. We have a lime green damage in the left side of the front wing, but that is not going to stop us to have good pace. And as we finishing our first lap, and our engine is a little bit hot, so you have to bear in mind with that. And it's really hard. I always find really hard to cool down the F2 engine. So. Maybe things can be a little bit challenging when it comes to straight line speed and overtaking, but at the moment things are going to be nearly impossible to overtake, because at the moment we don't have DRS. Is going to be deployed once we get into lap 3, but still a little bit further in lap 2. We're starting getting closer and closer to Sergio Sedecar. He's going defensive, and he locks up a little bit, and that is going to invite us to go around the outside as we're starting the last sector. And we made the move done, and we are in TP5, and it's been a good start in this early stage of the Grand Prix as we missed once again the apex. It's so hard, this circuit, and it's very frustrating. Doesn't provide that much good racing, to be honest. The only thing good is that it's nighttime. It starts in the sunset. It's the only thing good on this circuit, and I think we don't need this circuit. I prefer definitely maybe having a finale in a night race. Yes, I agree to be in a night race, but you know, be at Bahrain is 1,000 times better having a race at Bahrain as the season finale. But here we are. We have to suck at the pain and drive at Abu Dhabi at the moment, and pace has been actually pretty decent. Starting to gain to Luca Giotto, but things are getting a little bit challenging because of the DTR. I'm finding a little bit hard to overtake, but then a few laps later, a lap late I should say, I put a little bit of work on lap 3, and definitely we are very close to Luca Giotto. He has DRS. This is the thing, everyone has DRS, and we can't gain that much when it comes to slipstream, but he's going defensive, so let's try to go around the outside, break in the 150 brake marker, and let's see, going a little bit deep, leaving a little bit of room. Now we're going to try to give him a little bit of a squeeze, and that's us into P4, so a very clean overtake. We're making slow progress, and much better pace than qualifying, it seems, because we always manage to pull something through in the race as the freeze gets a little bit too much curve on the last corner, and and we have a better exit, and maybe we're going to try to go around the outside as we're still alongside, but it just pinches us, and we'll leave the fight for another day. But this part of the track, this twisty section, this long twisty section, and this right-hander takes an absolute eternity to do in these F2 cars. We are pretty strong. We always manage to carry some good momentum, and we're going to try to go around the outside once again through the chicane. We locked up a little bit. We got a little bit deep, but we managed to get it inside, get our elbows out, and that has us into the podium places. At the moment, who's leading is Nicholas Latifi, and I don't know where is Jordan. I believe that he's out of the points. So at the moment, I think Dams would be gaining points on us, despite making a decent race. And we're going to pit on lap 10, and we're going to dress a brand new set of super soft tires. So it's been a very successful stint, but I really need Jordan to pick up the pace, you know, and help us in the championship standings. I think at the moment we've been still in the lead in the team standings, but things maybe wouldn't look that good in the sprint race. So like I said, we have still some work to do. I want to get the double championship, I should say. So we are the first to pit, because I decided to pit a lap early because I was starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable on the softs, and I think we can. The undercut is pretty powerful around here, especially in this track where you know, the tire wear kicks a lot. Maybe we're going to suffer a little bit in the latest stages because tire wear hasn't been good, and we're going to have a +1 lap in these tires. But going pole on the second sector, so things are looking good. I think we can get an easy undercut, you know. Maybe try to get a little bit close to Delatraz and even Latifi, but I think Latifi is going to be very hard. But actually, as you can see, who's in the pit is Zedek Camera, and Latifi decides to stay one more lap, and Delatraz is ahead of us. So Latifi is making a weird strategy call. I think it would be better to maybe Dams bring first Latifi and then the Zedek Camera, because he's leading the race, you know. But we set the fastest lap at 1:53.3, 1.7 seconds up. So just to see how much faster we are in these softer comparative tires and in clear air. But Delatraz is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix, as you can see, because he jumped massively Latifi, and I want to say that he maybe broke the DRS window, and now we're going to try to overtake the Canadian because he's vulnerable. He has still cold tires, so we have to keep our head down. We're going to have DRS. I don't know if he's going to have DRS. Maybe he's going to have it, you know. Because I think he's still a little bit close, but he's not going to have enough slipstream as we have against him to get a little bit. No, he doesn't have DRS, so he's going to make things very easy for us. He's going defensive, but no use. Going to be ahead of him before the braking zone, and they are up into P2. And now we're going to try to catch Delatraz and see if we can, you know, get another win as Mahaveer Raghunathan. But I can tell you that Delatraz, his pace has been absolutely biblical. There's no other word to describe. And we're going to come out in we're going to cross the line in P2, but it's going to be P3 at the end of the day, because I forgot to put in the editing that we're going to have a 3-second time penalty for abusing track limits. So Delatraz wins, but it was a nice comeback. P2. I think Dams gained a little bit in the championship standings, so there's some work to do in the sprint race, and I really need Jordan to pick up the pace in the last race of the series. So, but I'm really happy with the result. It is another podium.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Brilliant stuff from Carlin today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over the entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now. We have a new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion.
I think that I found out a little bit unfortunate, I can say, is that I think Cody's could have put, you know, the cutscene of me doing donuts. It had to be me doing the donuts, and then the replays. You could have like that scene, me hugging everyone in the garage, in the you know, after winning the championship. But there he is. Actually, he's not P2. It is P3. So apologies for that. But Jordan in P11. So that is mean that he's going to start in P11 in the race. So this is not very good news in the championship. But there he is. And it is still the lead of the championship. But let's see. And now Dams is just 6 points ahead. It's going to be very hard to win this championship. But never say never in the Formula 2. Let's go to the sprint race.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
It's impossible to have pressure with a guy that is not serious in this game. And we have a little bit of pressure, actually, because the team standings. Welcome to another video. I don't know what I'm saying. I think it's Jeff's fault, but we'll see what we can do in the sprint race, the last race of the series of my F2 2019 career mode as Raghunathan. 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. The after one of the dams. We are in a dam sandwich, so we have to overtake both of them and get a pretty decent position as steady camera shoots on the inside like it did in the first race, and we managed to get that position. Now we're going to try to overtake Latifi as early as we can and try to make this moves, because at the moment Jordan is out of the point, so we are carrying the flag of MP Motorsport at the moment as Hubert and Latifi are going defensive, and we managed to go around the outside of Latifi is clear, and we're going to do the same with Hubert, and that's a brilliant double overtake on these two guys, and this is what we really need. In these early stages of the race, is just pull away of the dams, being as far as we can, and hopefully they don't have good pace and overtake Hubert. And let's try to catch Guan Yu Zhou and Dorian Boccolacci that has the sprint race pole, but things are not going to be easy, maybe, because Hubert is going to overtake us. He's going to take the inside line. He's going to try to make us maybe take a little bit of a squeeze. No, he doesn't give, so kudos to him. He mounted the curve a little bit, so that is not the brightest thing to do, but it all comes down to this, the team standing. So you think that the job was done by winning the Drivers' Championship? No, ladies and gentlemen, because we have another championship to win. So and by the lap 3 we're setting personal bests and setting purple sectors, actually. So Brace has been surprisingly strong in these early stages of the sprint race. You have to bear in mind with the tire wear, because it's pretty high, especially in a race where you don't have any stops, and we're starting to get closer and closer to Zhou and Boccolacci, and I think Boccolacci, his pace is not that good, you know, because he's a midfield driver in the F2, so his pace is not going to be brilliant. So hopefully Zhou gets held up a little bit by the French and we can do something. And we skip for the 2 lap 4, and Zhou is starting to go defensive, so we have the pace, he knows that he is faster, and we have a brilliant exit into turn 1, getting closer and closer to his gearbox, and we're going to try to go around it like we did the freeze. Let's see if he doesn't pinch. We locked up a little bit, we gone a little bit deep, and we leave the fight for another day, but things are looking good for us, and maybe win this sprint race, the last race of the series. That would be a great way to finish the series, and we got we have a good momentum through the long right-hander, and that is going to allow us to go around the outside for the first chicane. I think it's the best way to go when it comes to overtaking this chicane. I think the inside line is not the best thing to do, because you hit the curb on the inside line, it unsettles the car. But most importantly, there he is, P2, and we're going to try to catch Boccolacci. And just a few seconds later, at the closing stages of the same lap that we overtook Zhou, look how close we are, and look how poor the exit that he had. And the Calamirelot is out of the race, so there's not much of a, you know, a big DNF. It would be worse if it was Jordan, because we or one of the dams. That would be great if we have one of the dams, you know, out of the race. That would be so good, but we have to focus now in this battle for the first place between Dorian Boccolacci and the good momentum as always, and we're going to try for the 1000th time in this episode in this track, try to go around that side. It gets really good on the brakes, so that was pretty impressive by the French, considering that the pace that he has. So maybe that our tires are starting to fade away, we have to nurse them, but I really want to overtake and take the win in the final race of the season, not really season, of this championship. But we're going to have DRS, and we're going to start to gain and gain, getting closer to the gearbox of Dan Campos, and he's going defensive, but we're going to switch to the left, and we're going to try to go, we're going to take the inside line, we're going to try to give him a little bit of a squeeze, but he gets the switch back really done, because we're gonna be deep, and we're forced to mount the curb, and he gets around the outside, managed to get a good traction around the outside despite touching the curb. and this is brilliant stuff between me and the French, but it's not good because the dams are starting to get closer and closer, so I need to get this move done as early as I can. As we're going through the outside, it locks up a little bit, and we're forced to go off to the track. And we received the another illegal overtake, so we have to give this position to Boccolacci, but he doesn't want. And we're making a huge train. Come on, Boccolacci, overtake us for freak's sake. And the overtake it, but look at the train that we made. And this is not really good news because now the dams are very close to the guys in front, and I don't want that. I want the dams to be in the lowest position as they can to win the team standings. But here he is going to take the second bite of the cherry, and this time maybe we can have an easy move. And there he is. He's not going to have any chance because we've gone a bit later on the brakes, and he's a little bit of a tank stop, as you can see. But that's us into the lead of the sprint race of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the last race of my F2 2019 career mode. So maybe we're going to finish things in great fashion of this series, as Boccolacci starting to suffer with his lack of pace as Joe goes round the outside through the chicane. Look how close the dams, I believe, or Sede Karma. I think it is Sede Karma because I can see the number 5 on the dams, and there he is, makes the move stick, and now maybe he's going to be under pressure. Yes, it is under pressure of the dams, and maybe he's going to be overtaken because at the moment he's really struggling for pace as Hubert tried to overtake the dams, but not enough, and there is an engine failure. I believe that is Nick de Vries, so not the best way to finish the season. That means that Sergio Sede Karma is going to take the P2 of this championship, and there he is talking about the Brazilian. He's going to go around the outside. This is not Sede Karma, so apologies for that. This is Nicholas Latifi, so I was making some confusion. The Brazilian is behind Hubert and Boccolacci, but Boccolacci really struggling at the moment. Look how slow he is, and Hubert is going to maybe take a chance. I saw one of the dams. Yes, it is. It's the Brazilian trying to do something on Hubert, but no use, and he has to leave the fight for another day as Hubert locks up a little bit. So the tire wear is starting to kick it in on these guys and me as well. But we are in a commanding lead at the moment, so we have a race in our hand, and there is Hubert is going to try to take give another chance. He pulled away actually a little bit of the dams, just a slight bit, and now he's going to around the outside. This is the only place, the only part of the track that you can overtake. So in my opinion, Abu Dhabi doesn't offer good racing, in my opinion. But there he is. We're going to start our final lap of F2 career mode. So to finish off this season, you know, this championship in a good fashion, I'm going to show you just in a little movie, I can say, a little bit of a short film of our best moments in this campaign as Mahaveer Raghunathan. So as I drive this last lap, guys, I hope you enjoy the best moments of my F2 2019 career mode as Mahaveer Raghunathan. What's up, guys? My name is Tom and welcome back to another video here on F1 2019 to start the F2 2019 career mode, the brand new series on the channel. We're going to drive as Mahaveer Raghunathan. We're going to try to do the opposite of what he is doing this year in F2. We're going to try to win the championship. Round the outside, Giotto gets the better traction, and we're going to try all round the outside through this long section. It takes an eternity to do on the F2. Nick de Vries, that is out on the last lap, and now we take once again the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Yeah, what a way to start this championship. Get in there. And let's see if we can snatch a move very similar to what we did in the first race on Luca Giotto. Now a little bit more deep, and we made the move stick. But this is where this setup comes to play, because I'm in low wings. I have a pretty good straight line speed, and we overtook the Vries. We're going to try to go down inside of Matsushita. We do so. We made the move on the Carlin, and we are in P8. Get something from these safes or soft tires, but we hit the wall. We lose our tire, and we are out of qualifying of this Spanish Grand Prix, influencing something, but we put the power down a little bit too early, and that was a big smash for us. And fortunately, it's going to be pole position. That was the race. We controlled the race. We convert the pole position into the race win. That's what we want. I don't know if we're going to get the championship lead once again, but regardless, it's another win for Mahaveer Raghunathan. And he's going to be a two-stop, as you can see, from the softs to the mediums in a sprint race. And now I'm going to tell you, no one is going to stop, because Jeff screwed me over, and we're still setting fastest laps somehow in these hard tires. But no one is going to stop. That's the race over. Now we just wait for the finish line, up to the line, and it is provisional pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix. We dominated the race, we nursed very well the tires. Basically we did a perfect job, and that's what I want. And it is a race win, the Monaco Grand Prix for Mahaveer Raghunathan. Who would have thought? But we're going to make a massive dive bomb on the Raskas. I was going to say Lewis Happen, but we made a move, a superb move. And can we do what we did to Delatras? Yes, we can. Now we're going to be just a little bit of more small squeeze just to make sure that he doesn't come back. We are absolutely on fire this weekend at Monaco. Mahaveer Raghunathan overtaking people at Raskas, only in the F1 games, right? The point of the track where the AI is really slow, I don't know why, and we're going to get so close to Latifi that we're going to make a dive on the inside. And can we take the lead of the race? Yes, we can. We squeeze very aggressively, and this is a very weak point to the AI, that we're going to make a dive on the inside. Oh, so close to, yeah, we touched Latifi, but we managed to save that. I was a little bit too ambitious, and it's going to come back by going round the outside, all the way around the outside as well. And Latifi enters, and he's going to fit the slicks, as you can see. He's going to fit the hard tires, Latifi, and this is a huge mistake from the team. And there you go, this is a free wide moment, and there is Antoine Hubert. He's going to take the inside line. He's a free wide between the Trident Schumacher and Hubert, and Hubert is going to take third place with a brilliant overtake. We did everything. It was very unfortunate, that mistake from the team of Latifi, but the reward is going to be the win, and we're going to pull away in the championship massively. What a race. And it slides out, and away we go in these tricky conditions, very slippery conditions, and the start wasn't very good. We're losing the back end everywhere, full skid, full lock. It was super awful, a terrible start, and we look at that. Yeah, and that's the race. Dorian Boccolacci wins the race, and I tried to take the position over Aitken in the last minute. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to, you know, score points in this race, because doing double stack, everyone is doing double stack, and this is taking an absolute eternity. This is an absolute disaster. Everyone is jumping me, and this is the podium places, and we're going to make the dive bomb once again, but we made a double lockup. We're going to make contact. This is a copycat of Hamilton versus Rosberg, trying to go around the outside through Stowe, but Latifi lost it. He's crashed. He spins round, and this is worse for our championship rival. I believe he's in P3, not very far from P2. Also, and I'm struggling a lot with the tire wear. I'm still setting personal bests because the car is starting to getting lighter and lighter, but we lost the back end, and we're going to tag Giotto when we have front wing damage, and the Zedek Camera gets a good run, and he's going to dive on the inside, and I'm going to try to manage to try to defend around the outside. Beautiful LD cam shot, and now we're going to have the inside. I'm going to try to push as wide as I can, and try to get the best traction as I can, but look at the traction that Zedek Camera has as I can, as he's trying to go around the outside. But now I'm going to have a lot of understeer going wide through Stowe, and he's going to have a chance to go around the outside through the last corner. I brake as late as I can, but not enough, and the Freeze is going to have the better line. He's going to go on the inside, and unfortunately the Freeze is going to get that position, and at the end of the day he's going to be P6 in a very close finish. Now we're going to be a little bit caught on the curb, and we hit the wall, and that's the end for us of qualifying. We crashed at the exit of turn 1, but unfortunately I pushed too hard. I believe I opened the DRS and that destabilized, and then I got a curve. It was just you know, a bunch of factors that gather and sent the car. Delatraz is going defensive as they try to go around the outside. We have a chance here, and we made the move stick, and finally we are making some moves in this Hungarian Grand Prix. It's not that enough. He's going defensive. I'm going to try to go for a gap, but no, he locks up. He makes a double lockup. I have to make an evasive action, and with this Delatraz gets ahead of us, so that was really unfortunate, but a lot of air to the engine, and Lacey is going to lock up a little bit, and we lost a bit of fronting once again. This is not really good, and the Freeze gets the move done. Major wing damage, and we're going to run wide. We're going to skip out the grass. We're round. We're spinning round. We lost our whole front wing, and at the moment things are going from bad to worse, and even worse than worse, I can say. And we don't have our front wing, and we're limping for the checkered flag. I'm squeezing Jordan King. I wasn't expecting to see him around the outside, and now he's vulnerable to Matsushita, so not a very good teamwork, but it's going to be enough to secure us P7. But that was really bad, really bad weekend getting me out of here. Delatraz that lost some positions at the start. We had a slipstream of Matsushita. We're going to pull around the outside. Yes, we can. And now we're going to get some slipstream of Delatraz. This is what we want for the championship. And here we go. We overtook Delatraz. We're going to overtake Latifi. And who knows, we can overtake Schumacher. But we are alongside Latifi, so we have to forget Schumacher. We made a little bit of contact with him actually, because he lost a lot of time. So probably going to overtake the Freeze. We are at the moment in first place of this Belgian Grand Prix, but he's going to have the inside line Aitken, but we get a good run, and yes, the undercut has worked, and we take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, and that's what I really want, and we're back with a comfortable lead in the championship. We go for the first time in Eau Rouge in tricky conditions. Giotto on the inside of Schumacher as I overtake. Oh! That was so close to hit the back of Luca Giotto. But remember, we're going to have DRS, so Latifi is in real threat as Boccolacci is going to get out of the pits. I'm going to tell you how many stops these guys made. They made 5 or 6 stops, and we're going to non-stop action now because this is the blue flags, and Boccolacci is holding up Latifi. Now he's going to hold up Matsushita, and he's going to brake a little bit. I believe he's going slow. Yes, he's going, and ho-ho! Once again I'm saying ho-ho because that was so close. So now he's going to shoot on the inside. We're going to come back to the race and we're going to hold on the inside. Now we're going to try to give me a little bit of a squeeze at the Scary, but there's yellow flags and Aitken is spinning round, and I believe Jack Aitken is out of the race. We're going with the mid-low downforce setup, so this is going to help us when it comes to the straight line speed, and we're gaining and gaining as we're going to turn 1. We're going to run outside not just of the Univirtuosi but of Serekabra and the other Univirtuosi of Guan Yu Zhou, and at the moment we are in P4 with a decent start by making a triple overtake as we're going to turn 1, getting the slipstream so close to the gearbox of our teammate Jordan Kick. We're going to shoot on the inside into turn 4, I believe. Yes, it is turn 4, and that's us into P3. And the DRS gets disabled. We're going to try to fight back, but we made contact. It's a mid-spin, and we've been hit by someone. I believe it is the freeze, and we spin around in these early stages of the race. But we're going to make a massive dive bomb on Nicholas Latifi. This can end badly. I don't learn my lessons, but oh man, what was that? Some minutes ago I made contact with him and I was spun round and I finished outside the points. And now here I am making massive dive bombs. And here we are through the final couple of corners as Mahaveer Raghunathan in this series. So it's been a really good season for us. We've been very consistent and we're going to be on the top of the world as the GOAT, you know. But yeah, it was a very good way to finish off the season. We made some great moves, a good battle with Boccolacci, and this is the best way to finish off the championship with a win at a sprint race. So what I can say is thank you for this series, and this win is for all of you.
Superb driving. That's the race win.
A hard-fought win today then, after a very difficult race. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
Was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and gyro strategy, what else occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
And so the celebrations begin, and well-earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now. We have a new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champ.
Enjoy it while you can, because this is going to be the last time that you're going to see this man in my channel, in the podium places, because this is the last time that I'm going to drive him as him, because you know, I'm not going to drive him again, because I'm going to do a F2 career mode with the 2020 cars in the F1 2020 game, but it's not going to be as him, because first he's not going to be in that game, and if he wouldn't be in the 2020 season I wouldn't drive him, but there he is. We were the best in them during this weekend, followed by Delatraz, but a win to finish off the season. That's the icing on the cake, I should say, and there is. We won the championship by 55 points, so it was a commanding championship lead, like the Freeze had in the real life. So I'm really happy. I would be happy with you know, a more dramatic end of the season with a battle in the sprint race like we had with Devon Butler in my first episode of my F1 2019 career mode, which is going to be out tomorrow. Are the last episodes of my F1 career mode in this game. But there he is. We received the gold medal, because remember, this is in the championship up this game, which I believe it's very underrated in this game. There's a lot of content to be covered, but I don't have time. Maybe I'm going to have it time in the 2020 game, especially now on summer holidays. But there he is. There's a lot of content to cover in this championship section, and I think it's very underrated, this part of the game, I should say, this menu on the game. And yeah, guys, that has been the series of Mahaveer Raghunathan campaign while I was driving him. So that's the reason. Yeah, I'm a god of the driver. I'm kidding, but yeah, it's been a great 12 episodes of this series, and I really enjoy and appreciate you guys for being with me during this series. I know that I wasn't very consistent, but I hope you guys understand that this is not my full job, but I put a lot of hard work on the videos, and seeing your support is the best thing, is the best reward I can have. So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smash like, scratch, and if not see plenty more Formula 1 content. 2020 is around the corner, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time in a brand new F2 career mode with the 2020 cars. But now it's time to say goodbye.